So we do have plenty to talk about this week. It is Wednesday, June 10th, 8:41 p.m. This is episode number 105 of the Thanks for Nothing podcast. It's me, Mike. To the left of me, I got Mason, and right below is our special guest, Joseph. There's a special reason why he's here. This guy's gonna be super famous one day. His name will forever
if he
live
isn't already
in infamy.
Local famous.
I kind of want to start off today. We had a dramatic read that we want to give you. As you can see, one of our special hosts is not here this evening, that being Dustin. He will be missed, but we'll be back on next week. Starting off, I wanted to kind of do
why
a
do he
quick
go to his job when he has a podcast to do?
Yeah, I mean, like, people don't understand how much money we make doing this. I don't think you need another job. Like, you know, I mean, I can pay my mortgage all by myself. I mean, can't you guys?
Absolutely, I can. With the first book that's not even published, the royalties are already coming in.
Just pouring in right now.
I'm putting in my 2 weeks tomorrow, actually.
I bought a lot of cocaine.
Easy. Don't go in debt with the drug dealers already. You gotta give it a shot real quick. Make sure that it actually all works out. So I just kind of want to dabble on this because we all know that in the world of news right now, still the biggest topic is the death of George Floyd, along with some other police brutality incidents. And what's actually really interesting is the death in, I believe it was it Vegas or Arizona, Utah, Nevada, somewhere in the West, that one hotel shooting that was pretty viral. What was that? About 2 years ago with the SWAT team member in the hotel hallway. Do you remember that, Mason?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Black Lives Matter is, talking about justice for him as well, which has really proven the main point that we've been saying the entire time, is what majority of people in the United States have been saying as well. The point of this protest is police brutality and, protesting some changes that need to come along with that as well. And I feel like this week was the first week I've really seen your contrasters, your people, who are arguing with you on this. They're really in full force right now, really heating up on social media because they're just tired of seeing all the issues, especially with the whole the bill with the changes that want to be made with the police and stuff. What do you guys think?
It's enough time's gone by to where they can go back to their true selves.
Yes, exactly.
They can stop saying, like, I don't condone what happened to him. Now they're like, he was a fucking criminal. He was a career criminal. And it's like, well, that's not what got him killed. He died for no reason. But now they can still continuously bring that up to justify their points. There's like a 2-week period before you can actually criticize a dead person, I think.
And they're just tired of hearing it. And so I had a conversation with my sister. Her and I went back and forth. And we were actually texting. And I said, you know what I really think it is? People don't want to be called that, they don't want to be called racist. They feel like they're not. They're like, I'm respectful to other people. So I was like, one thing I do believe is, deep down, I don't think that they believe that they're racist. And I'm not going to say that they are. You know what? That's your own issues that you got to deal with and what you got to work out. You see things that are, trying to benefit society, for the good of the people, and you somehow don't want to hop on that train. Well, I mean, that kind of looks a little racist. But if you don't believe that you are, then I think the other problem that they have is change. It's something about change that really upsets them deep down inside. And I don't know what it is, but they're always so resistant to change. I don't know if that's just is it just classic conservatism?
Just scared of what they don't know.
I was going to say conservatism. It is in the word.
Exactly.
Not wanting to change. It's funny you say that because I saw a post in one of those neighborhood sites that are on Facebook with you had a group of children or teenagers essentially coming together to protest Black Lives Matter and against police brutality. And then the conservative response was met with, let's just go ahead and have a pro-Trump, pro-Second Amendment protest. And it's like, you can't really protest things that you already have. And someone pointed that out to me on, social media. And I'm like, you got a point there, These people are protesting things that they already have, that they've had for years.
It's just to detract. It's to detract from the actual movement itself, which to me, once again, tells me that you're being hateful for a cause that's only meant for positive change. Which, even as I try to defend those that are, being hated on social media for having like a different point of view or something like that, it gets kind of hard to do when you have like, oh, we're going to have a Trump rally after this Black Lives Matter rally. Man, that sounds kind of shitty, if you know what I mean. Like,
it sounds like erecting a statue of a Confederate general as soon as Jim Crow gets passed.
Speaking of which,
same thing. And so now, when you have like the statues coming down, and also with NASCAR removing the or banning Confederate flags, the uproar of that, I guess I'll never be able to understand that mentality because everything that it represents, the whole Southern heritage is just another yes but argument, basically. Well, it's heritage. Well, no, it's not. It's not. The stuff that you guys are arguing about.
Confederacy lasted a year longer than your high school.
Exactly.
Your heritage.
It makes it makes absolutely
What you
no sense.
What you said, Joseph, on that, people really like, whenever it's like a projection, whenever you get called a snowflake, people really want to be the victim. They really want to be the victim. And so that's why whenever you have Black Lives Matter protesting, you have these like not affluent, that's not fair to say, but pretty well off, middle-aged white people saying, well, people are racist against white people too. And everyone's like, you're fine. You're fine. You're going to be okay. I saw a post about about white privilege, and I didn't grow up with privilege. I had to work and et cetera, et cetera. It's like, right. But what they're saying is when you walk through a neighborhood, like the white privilege is that, if you're riding a bike through a neighborhood as a white person, they say there goes a bike rider. But if you're a black person, this is what the white privilege comes into place. If you're a black person, I think I saw a flyer for that bike that was stolen. And then all of a sudden, like, there's a black male riding a stolen bike, and it's like, no, this is my bike, but it just looked like a bike you thought you saw, but you saw a black man riding it. And so that's when you call the police. That's the big difference between privilege.
Well, speaking of hometown Saginaw, there was some things that happened. So apparently they were organizing, just like Joseph was saying, a Black Lives Matter rally. Thank you. A Black Lives Matter rally. And then right after that, they're doing a pro-Trump rally after the Black Lives Matter rally. That's happening here in Saginaw as well.
That's what I was referring to.
That one, yeah.
I didn't know if we could name towns here on this podcast to all of our millions of world followers that we have.
Name everything. Name everyone. Call them out.
So a friend of a friend is a dispatcher for the Saginaw Police Department, and whenever the riots were starting to reach a certain point, you would actually have where Willow Creek Park in Saginaw, there would be some black people walking down the street, and they were getting 911 phone calls saying, "I don't want the riots coming here." Come on, bro. Come on. But they said it's commonplace. They get it all the time. They get it all the time.
For there goes the neighborhood.
There goes the neighborhood. Okay. All right. You know what? I think we've said plenty on this already. Yeah. But like I said, this is Thanks for Nothing, episode number 105. Go ahead.
People suck, and if you're racist, you are. Just say it. Just say you're racist.
So that we can work on it together. We can work on this together. If you just admit it and say that there's a problem, we can work on it.
Admittance is absolutely the first part of solving the problem and accepting.
So yeah.
Me and Joseph have always had an understanding to where Joseph always told me, I'm not even white, I'm clear.
That's true. I say that quite often.
And Joseph, what did you tell me yesterday? Was it yesterday or the day before? What did you refer to yourself as?
A brown person?
No.
What?
How dare you?
Much better than that. You said a potato.
A potato. Oh, I called myself a potato. That's right, because I'm brown on the outside and white on the inside. Thank you. I forgot about that one.
I can't wait. Further in this episode, Joseph, thank you for joining us this evening. Further in this episode, it's going to be Joseph having the floor. We're going to be talking a lot about his new book that's coming out, The Industry, actually. Finally successfully completed. There it is. Oh, look at the excitement. I'm super, super happy for you.
I wish I could read.
My picture right there.
Oh, God, you look so deep in thought.
Subject to change.
But let's start off with what everybody's drinking. I think this is going to be the first non-alcoholic on the show because I know Joseph doesn't drink that much anymore, unless he's drinking pure whiskey. I don't know what's in his coffee cup right now.
Oh, sorry. Audio popped out.
You good? Can you hear me?
Good.
Okay. So you got some coffee over there. Right now I'm drinking myself a homemade margarita. Mason, what about you?
This is vodka. And this
Straight vodka.
No, with water.
Oh,
and,
okay.
A German Weiss beer.
Oh, very nice. Is that Joseph, is that a special roast you have there?
Actually, this is a mint medley tea with some honey.
Wonderful.
I was going to say Earl Grey.
It is in my wonderful Poets of Oak Cliff coffee mug. Some nice little guy. He owns a bookshop over there in Bishop Arts District in Dallas. Very cool place. Go check them out, everyone. All of you millions of people out there.
It is called Bishop's Arts District now, right?
I hope so. Yes, it is.
I hope so.
It's no longer Oak Cliff.
Yeah, they got rid of that negative connotation.
Yeah, I was going to just say the same thing, actually.
That's where Stevie Ray Vaughan was born. So
gentrification, for sure.
I want to ask you guys a question. You know, with all the heat that's going on with social media, also in the news, and how you just can't escape it right now. You know, and it usually it's like this for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, and then it dies off again. You know, you had Dale Hansen say that one thing on local news. So I had a thought while I was about 6 or 7 beers deep, sitting in the pool. If there was one person deceased that you had the opportunity to have a full sit-down conversation with, who would that be? If there was anybody ever. I'll start with mine, and because I feel like after everything that's happened, I would love to speak to Mr. Rogers, just to see how he dealt with the day-to-day of like hate in the world, and how, I've heard some people actually tell some on Reddit, even, private stories of them actually running into Mr. Rogers, and now Mr. Rogers just helped them, through the loss of a job or a death in the family, and he just gave them just unworldly advice. And sometimes I know how he's touched the world, but just to kind of pick his brain on how he dealt with things, on a day-to-day basis. I would love to have a sit down with Mr. Rogers and just kind of steal his identity. What about you guys?
So quaint.
So
warm.
So warm. And if he's like, "Do you need a hug?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
I don't, but I want one. What about you, Joseph?
Well, there's so many. I don't know where to start. But if you want to talk about just today's topical and social hot topics that are going around, you know what? I kind of want to see what Langston Hughes has to say about all of this, and to see how different his worldview is at the time that he died, which was the end of the social rights, or start of the social rights, I believe, in the 60s. To see, for him to have that perspective of what it is like now, and like where everything has been kind of settling in for the last 30 years. I think it would be interesting to talk to, especially a poet's perspective on that one. It's the first name that came to my mind.
Do you think he'd have pride to see how far everything's gone?
It is hard to say. That's why I want to have a talk with him.
Yeah. I would assume yes.
I would assume he'd have some pride. I'd be like, oh, well, this is a long way that where I've been at, but at the same time,
not far enough. Yeah.
Not far enough.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. What about you, Mason?
I want to. At first, I would say Oscar Wilde, but I feel like it'd just be.
I was going to say that too.
It would be really interesting at first, but I think like 10 minutes in, like in his 15th witticism, he'd be like, yeah.
Please.
Go back to being dead. Thank you.
I would say either Abraham Lincoln, because I want to say, because I picture Lincoln like having a fucking cigarette, being like, wait,
Smokes.
so my no, he doesn't, but he found out what cigarettes were, and it's like, so
This shit is
Republicans
awesome.
Republicans fly what fucking flag? And then
The
just
flag
like
that
this,
I gave my life for.
I died for fucking what reason? I think Mark Twain would be great to talk to, because he would make a mockery of all the fools of the world. I think if Christopher Hitchens was still alive, Donald Trump would never become president,
He would have shut
and
that down quickly.
he dismantle everything. But actually, if I could talk to anyone, it'd be Albert Camus, who wrote my favorite author, who wrote The Plague. Which, if you read The Plague, which is written in 1947, a fictional story about a plague in an Algerian town called Oran. If you read it, it's like transplanting yourself from here to then, like the human psychology of what's going on during the plague. And like we our first episode of this, Mike, we talked about stupid conspiracy theories and how people are just so like they replace their logic, like they don't want to believe something, so they just replace it. And that's what his whole thing is, like people just like their entire, basically the psychology of every world event he would have down pat. And I want to hear what he would say about something like this, about the human condition,
What
more exceptionally is what he could describe. So
what is it
yeah.
that I don't mean to cut you off, but Ricky Gervais put it, what was it? Beliefs shouldn't be based on facts. Facts should change your beliefs. And I was like, that is the simplest way to put what the hell's going on in this world right now. Like,
it should. Like when certain people say facts don't care about your feelings, and then cite the person saying that who argues more on feelings than anyone else, and yet is considered a conservative wizard of logic and facts.
yeah, what did Abraham Lincoln say? Don't believe everything you read on the internet. Wasn't that Abraham Lincoln?
That was.
Of course. No, that's actually really interesting. You said it's called The Plague. I've never even heard of the book.
Yeah, no, it was written in 1947, and I'm reading it right now currently for the exact reasons you could imagine. But if you were to take passage, in fact, I almost texted the both of you with passages from it. But if you read it, you're like, this is reading like what the gist of certain, except better written, of course, certain people's Facebook posts are saying about, like, either they disbelieve, or they think it comes from this, or they think that just how conditions don't affect them, or how it should affect them. And it's like a terrifying time travel. And he's writing it like the way we speak about it, coming from like, no, this is happening, and this is your superstitious belief that you're using to get by. It's fascinating seeing how throughout history things just are cyclical at times. And and I don't mean to get on COVID, because we're going to get on the industry, but with people's logic with COVID is like, you don't think quarantines happened before in the past? You don't think people in the past didn't deal with some sort of pestilence that didn't rack the human mind to where you have to seek some like alternate answer, to where you have to kind of make your own reality to where it's separated from what's actually happening. Like, no, that's all throughout human history. If it wasn't Bill Gates in the 1890s, it could have been some real estate or a
Carnegie,
steel magnate. If it was the
Rockefeller.
1300s, it could have been some duke. Sure, yeah, replace the name. Take Bill Gates, replace the name with anyone at the time. It doesn't matter.
Who has any sort of power whatsoever.
And so all the woke people, it's like you're not woke. You're just repeating the same exact tropes throughout history. You just don't realize it because you don't actually study history. You don't actually.
It's just society. So it's like so you're basically saying that this author is just like had a full understanding of just the basic functions of society and how people respond to it.
The psychology of
the psychology. Yeah. Interesting.
The philosophy behind why they think or what they think and why they think it, and it holds up to this very day. It's terrifying.
Well, I don't know why then you would want to talk to him, because I feel like you would just get really drunk and sad, because he would be like, mankind has no hope whatsoever, and you're gonna be like, yeah, you're right.
I'm really bummed out now.
No, he was an absurdist, and so he took nihilism and almost injected a sort of positivity into nihilism and the human condition, and kind of, instead of seeing the sad way into that, like you can say like, man, we're all the same, we're all gonna die. It was more like, no, these are patterns that these are things we can solve. These are things we can use to further the intelligence of mankind.
Amazing. Very cool. Very cool. Well, we come now to, it is time to discuss the main point of this entire episode. I'm super excited about this. I remember when Joseph started writing this book, The Industry, it was 2016?
Yeah, 2015, actually.
2015. Yeah, it was 2015. Yeah. He gave me a few excerpts of it, and I read a little bit of it during that time. I'm sure it's a whirlwind of change since that's actually happened right now, but I am excited. So here's Joseph to feature his book, The Industry. Tell us, all right, man, tell us the inspiration of it.
The inspiration. Let me tell you about how this wonderful idea came about. And you know what, Mason, you have a point there, because back when we all used to work together, as all of the millions of viewers out there would like to know this fun fact, that me and Mason used to wait tables together a long time ago. And we used to always go out drinking after our shifts to this, quaint little Irish pub up the road. And on Sunday nights, they had they had a night on Sunday night called Industry Nights. Now, I don't know if they still have that going on. They do?
They do.
Nice. They have the Industry Nights, and that was for servers getting off their shifts and going in and drinking and pretty much shutting that place down.
Excessively.
You would see your coworkers there every week. You would see people that you used to work with that are working at other restaurants. You would see chefs, cooks, everyone there. That's kind of where the main idea came from. That's where the title came from anyway. The root of me developing stories, just say us three were at a bar and be like, shit, man, you know what we should do? We should write down the crazy stuff that we experience day in and out. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Or rather, like all these people are telling stories at a table, and Joseph's in the corner, just like,
just preparing,
just observing, man, just listening and soaking in everything that was going around, because there was a lot of shit that those workers, the coworkers from back then, went through.
How many restaurants have you worked at, Joseph?
5, I think.
5 restaurants?
I think. I'm not sure. Let's see. I worked at a Red Lobster as a host and a busser and a dishwasher. I'm going to name Red Lobster. There was Shady Oak. Me and Mason worked at Shady Oak together.
Oh, nice.
As busters. We also did Posados. That's still there.
Nice.
And then after Posados was Cheddar's. And then it was Risky's Barbecue in Fort Worth.
What was your favorite? Risky's is a pretty good restaurant down there.
Grill.
So what?
You left out Genghis Grill.
Oh God.
The Jeej.
The G. I'm like, sure, there's one place missing in there. So yeah, that was what, 8 years of my life.
All of us have worked at that place.
Yes, we have. I've been there twice now. Who was it? It was Chris Kaminski that had said that you think you're about to leave, but you'll be back. This place always sucks you back. It always
Oh,
does.
That's
It
what happened to me
always does.
That's what happened to me at Cheddar's. I worked there twice
Yep.
in a total of
So,
4 years. I
can
think
I
that
can I tell you can I tell you a quitting story, which is my favorite of all time?
was. Yes, you may.
It was like a busy Friday or Saturday night, and Joseph wanted a brownie.
I was like, you know what? I need some sweets. My sugars are low.
So
I
he
gotta eat.
heated up a brownie at 7 o'clock on a Friday night, and was going to eat the brownie.
I had like 8 tables. Everyone was fine. They're eating. I'm like, yeah, they're good, man.
And the manager came around and saw him eating. He's like, "So are you fucking kidding me? Like, we're gonna pay for that brownie?" And Joseph's like, "No," and he sent him home.
He said that was it, and that was it.
And they wanted him to write this apology letter, and Joseph wrote a "fuck you" letter.
In classic Joseph fashion.
Just did not give a shit. Nope, that was it.
I was sitting right there when it happened. Like, we're gonna pay for that? No.
If it wasn't for that moment, me and Mason would still work together.
Oh, so what was the favorite restaurant that you worked at? I know that I'm assuming with a lot of this book, you probably left out important names or restaurants or something like that. I don't know if any of it was fictionalized in some sort of way to kind of describe your thoughts. So what was your favorite restaurant that you worked at?
There's no such thing as a favorite restaurant that you work at.
Best memories?
Okay. Actually, I did like Risky's was the best because all you had to do was wait the table. You didn't have to bust the table. You didn't have to run food. You didn't have to do anything. You just got the drinks and took the order.
And you got the full tip and just had a tip out afterwards.
Got the full tip and had the tip out, and you made the most money at that location. Plus, it was nothing but tourists. So a lot of the customers that came in were you'll never see again.
Right, yeah, and they're there pretty much to check out the stockyards and then go to Sundance and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was a tourist trap. So, and it was cool because you got to meet a lot of very interesting people there. And I did meet a lot of interesting people going through there. And I think I did a lot of video and a lot of photography back when I was a videographer and a photographer at Drisky's because they let me because I worked there. And actually did they were the only restaurant to let me shoot promotional video and photography for their restaurant and for their brand. So, yes, in that case, Risky's by far.
They didn't pay you an experience, right? They actually paid you some cash for it?
They gave me some cash, and they also gave me some ribeyes.
Okay. Well, hey, that's payment. It's food.
And see, we're also cutting Joseph short here because he also is a photographer and director.
It's true.
I'm retired now. On my computer.
Turning your badge and gun, yeah. But you made a movie and wrote a book, and me and Mike,
what was the name of your movie again?
Gladiolus.
Gladiolus, dude. Legendary.
Yeah, we had a screening and everything.
Yeah, Rosemarine Theater in Fort Worth. That's right.
Yeah,
I remember that.
It was a good little turnout, actually. I would love to do it again.
So what are you saying? You're done with movies? You would never do another movie?
No, I want to do a movie. I actually want to do a documentary.
Hell yeah.
When my next chance that I get, me and Ariel, my wife, we want to shoot a documentary about Tejano music in the state of Texas.
Oh, nice. That'd be pretty badass. Were you gonna run down to San Antonio and do a whole bunch of shoots down there too? Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Go down to Corpus Christi and get next to the Selena statue. I'd be like, look at me, gente.
So give us a kind of like a synopsis of your book. Whatever it is that you want to kind of spoil. Is there anything that you want to give to our listeners out there? Kind of just like a general synopsis. What are you really covering this? And second to that, do you feel like restaurant life is now behind you now that you've written this book?
Oh man, I don't think anyone would hire me after they knew that I wrote a book like this. But actually, no, I do think that restaurant work is behind me. There was this one, unfortunately, one of my jobs. Okay, so Riskies, the last job that I did have, I just completely walked out and didn't show up. And it was one of those like points where I'm just like, I'm sitting in the parking lot, I'm in my uniform, ready to walk in, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Right.
And I sit there and I'm like,
Red hand.
no, I can't do this anymore. I turn on the car and
Just
and
left.
they're like, hey, where are you at? And I'm like, nah, bro.
I don't work there anymore, man. I'm sorry.
That's not good.
Of course, there was a lot of other, underlying issues that I was going through at the time as well. But, it was, and that's another thing that inspired the book, which is a perfect segue into the industry. The book follows a restaurant chain, a popular restaurant chain in a random North Texas city, located a very busy interstate highway where, there's lots of traffic that comes in.
A lot of
And
construction.
lots of construction all of the time. And it follows basically the employees of that chain, really, not only what they go through during their shifts, but what they go through after their shifts. So it's actually mainly focusing on their lives behind their job. And pretty much kind of, I wanted it to illustrate the idea of, you have a server right here and they're waiting tables, and sometimes they get treated like shit, but you don't know what they're going through. You have no idea what their life is like behind their job, and you have no idea who they are. It's just one little person that you may see 1 hour a week whenever you go out to eat. But who are they really? Well, I'm going to tell you. But the story, it develops really, there's a lot of themes that it kind of goes over, I think, that are important issues to discuss about in today's culture and society. There's a lot of focus on mental health, a lot of focus on addiction, and just verbal and physical abuse, and also the help that's not there for the workers that have to go through this on a day-to-day basis.
Very interesting.
Because there's a lot of things like the wage gap that exists between the workers and the managers and the higher ups, and there's a lot of stuff about even health benefits, how there's non-existent in that industry.
So, so do you actually delve at all into like the type of person that usually remains a server or becomes a server, or like the cooks, and like do you bleed into backgrounds or anything like that?
It's basically told in like an anthology type of setting. So there's about 16 chapters, and each one of those chapters goes into one or two characters.
Okay.
And it kind of has an overarching story, but each chapter focuses on an individual. And
Oh, I like that.
Sometimes that's the cooks that are in the back with the opening manager. Sometimes it's the pregnant lady working for her family. And, sometimes it's the burnt out addict who's just trying to make a dollar, and it just keeps going on. So there's a lot of stuff. Some it's also another one as the educational type, the guy that's just there trying to work, trying to make a dollar and get through school so they can get out.
Of course, yeah. So break down your process. Whenever you were writing this book, you had to have gone through some changes in the last 5 years while writing it.
Oh man, that's a heavy request there. Well, as Mason, I should just let Mason tell it. He's a lot better at it.
Two Josephs wrote this book.
Two Josephs. Okay.
Two Josephs did write this book.
Yeah. No, and
there's the evil Joseph, and well, I killed him. He's dead now. And then there's the happy Joseph who edited the book.
It's like the Joseph that lived it was telling the story to the Joseph that was like watching from the outside, and finally took over from that Joseph that was living it, and was like, okay, no, here's how it really happened. Instead of your glorified version, this is the real nitty gritty, the real dirty moments that maybe you wouldn't acknowledge.
There was a time that I think after I went through like a third revision in like 2017 that I put the book down because I'm like, man, I can't edit this anymore. This is too fucking depressing. I need to work on something that makes me happy.
So you went almost 2 years without even working on it? You like took a break?
I took a break, yeah. Did at the time because I actually first started writing it when I had time, which the first time I did that was when my daughter was born, and that was in 2015, which is when you got the snippets when I
Yeah.
had downtime, baby sleeping, you just knock out a few chapters.
Right.
And then picked it up back up again at 2017, tried to revamp it a couple of times. And then once I got the feedback, I just kind of put it on the back burner because I was going through life changes, new
Of
family,
course.
new job, all that fun stuff.
5 years and a completed novel. Yeah. How do you feel right now? Do you feel even more accomplished as an artist?
I do. Dear God, I mean, I know there's still a little bit of work to be done on this, but man, seeing this
You
thing
put
in
this over
print,
Gladiolus?
What's that? What'd
Do
you
you
say,
put this
Mason?
over, do you put this over Gladiolus?
Oh, yeah.
I do because I think it's a cleaner and better product.
Huh.
I'm happier about this than I was about Gladiolus. Plus, Gladiolus, I did drunk.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
you were. I remember when you were finishing. I remember when you were finishing the editing on that. You were sitting actually at Dublin Square, and you were like really drunk, finishing it, and you were so happy. And then you're like, "These are my celebratory beers." And then Mason was like, "Well, technically, you're not done yet. You're still working on it." You're like, "I'm done. I'm
I'm done
done."
with the script. Screw you, Mason. You don't know anything.
I don't, and you know what? I would get drunk too, and I didn't make a movie. So, take that for what you will.
So no. What I'm really excited about is, do you feel like for the reader, anybody who has a history in the restaurant industry, you think they're really going to be able to connect with this book?
I agree with that statement to the
Yeah.
fullest extent that you can agree with the statement.
That was the best answer I've ever heard in my entire life, actually. That was really good.
Are we going to read it and be like, wait, that's me?
Yes, of course. Mason, one of these characters is based on you.
Of course I know him. He's
One,
me.
It's
one, of,
me.
one of these characters is based on me. Actually, several of them are based on me. The different facets of my evil personality.
Now, yeah,
In there.
is this really you, or is this who you wish you were? And you see, that's an important question too.
It's who I was.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
what's left with the book? What else do you have to do right now?
Well, right now I've got the proof in front of me, so the only thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to read it front to back for the first time. I've never
Nice.
done that
Congratulations.
before, and then just kind of point out any inconsistencies that I may see, so I can do the last changes, as well as fix the margins and fonts. Although I like the font, I'm gonna stick with font.
So how many pages? Where are we at?
It's a good question. I'm gonna open it right now. Ooh, look at that! It's got my little name on it. 190.
190 pages.
Yep.
You crazy son of a bitch! You did it.
You did it.
You did it.
Oh my God! I know. I was so excited when this thing came in. Like, you have no idea, dude.
Like when you got it, did you look at it and go like, wait, what happened?
Man, when I sent it to Amazon to get it printed, I was like, wait, whoa, holy crap! I would not have been able to had I been. And it's interesting how it worked out because I don't think I would have finished it at prior to this year because several factors like Corona
Of course, yeah.
virus and just being at home and I was working on a play and I wanted to produce it, but everything's closed. So I'm like, well, I do have this book that's been sitting there for 4 years, so I might as well crack that open.
Knock that shit out. So where are you going to go? Like, where are you thinking about going to try to get it published? What ideas do you have? Avenues?
So first, it's going to be available on Amazon, and that will be July 16, 2020. Available for purchase. It
How
will
much
go
money?
live then.
How much money do you get from that?
So much money. 100% of the royalties go to me. In fact, they gave me a book deal. This is one of 5 book deals and they gave me a
I'm serious. Like,
they gave me a $350,000 advance. So I told you I'm putting in my resignation tomorrow, dude.
yeah, you're buying us dinner for having on the podcast.
I'm buying you an office, yeah.
That's our. Oh, thank you. What a sweetheart, dude. What a sweetheart.
And a bottle of Johnny Walker
Blue
label. Yeah.
Yep.
Eat.
Yep.
Sure.
But no, like when you do it through Amazon, like, how does that work? Like, what's the
premise?
The premise is.
I'm trying to tell you. Is there like because I don't know how Amazon works. Like,
with you, man.
do you get like does Amazon get like the majority of it, or like if you make a sale, like do you get that? Do you decide the price? Do they decide the price? How's it work?
Yeah. So essentially, this is for all of you people who are looking to self-publish their books out there.
Because I'm buying a book and I want you to get the money.
Well, here's what's going to happen.
Jeff Bezos.
All right. Here's what's going to happen. It's going to be published through this Amazon's #1 of a 2-parter. The next part is Ingram Spark, and they have a worldwide distribution model. So I'll have to then go out on myself, because I'm not a publisher. I'm selling myself, essentially.
Yep.
So I'm
fucking slut. Anyways.
Hell yeah, dude.
Or
But I'm gonna go out there and basically go up to these guys. Hopefully they want to buy my book. I'll be like, hey, I made a book. You should sell it. Here's a discount. But anyway, back to your Amazon question. I set the price, and then I'll get a certain percentage of that price. One percentage, like let's say it gets broken down into 3 parts, because I think it's going to be for $9.99. 30%, or a third of that's going to go to Amazon, a third of that's going to go to materials, and a third of that's going to go towards me. And that's how it's going to be broken down through Amazon. I'm going to put it on Kindle Direct as well. And basically, the way their model works is that you get like a fraction of a cent or a cent per every page that's read.
Wow. And that's direct to Kindle, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you have a Kindle, you download it, you have it there. Every page that you flip, there's like a cent or a fraction of a cent. And it being 190 pages, that's $1.90 to me.
There you go. It's all the spreading of information, man. That's awesome. No, man, really proud of you. Seriously, that you finally went all the way through with it right now. So,
because I said I want to buy a copy, and you're like, oh, Mason, no, you don't have to buy a copy. And I'm like, no, that's not how business works. You create a good. I want to consume this good, and I want to give you money for this good. Not Jeff Bezos.
Not Jeff Bezos. You bastard. Well, yes.
We all get a signed copy, right?
I mean, you have to get in line, dude. You got to take a number.
Well, no, the thing is that I feel like since you're on our podcast, we'll buy the book. You're going to sign it because I'm going to have it mailed to your house. You're going to sign it, give it to me, and there you go. That's it. That's just what's going to happen. Once again, guys,
the book in half-price books later.
Sure you just put a JA. Are you kidding me?
No, I need this made out personally. Take 30 seconds to actually write something out right now. Once again, guys, the book is known as The Industry, and it will be available, Joseph, you said, on July 16th, correct?
That is a Thursday. Mark your calendars.
On Amazon, and I'm really excited. You guys go ahead, support your local artists, and also check out something if you've ever been in the restaurant industry. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to connect with this book. I know based on his rough drafts that it's something that I was able to connect with personally as well. You already picture yourself in it. You immerse yourself in it because you just know what the food service industry is actually like. So
get PTSD at least.
Oh, it'll spark it. Yeah. What Fortunate Son from CCR starts playing? Like there's just things that start happening. So before we actually end the podcast here, there's one thing I want to talk about. And, we always talk about a lot of the negative stuff out there. We bitch and moan about people in society that just generally refuse to, be a part of something great. And this has become a very common theme right now on Thanks for Nothings. We want to thank somebody for something. And was that your idea last week, Mason? I think it was. Thanks for something.
Yes.
Yeah. And so this week, we would like to give thanks to a family from Connecticut.
I think the way I phrased it was, thanks for not you, nothing.
Thanks for not you, nothing. Yeah. So this week, we would like to give thanks to a family from Connecticut, the Rutledge family from Simsbury, Connecticut. They put a sign saying thanks to the workers during COVID-19, especially the healthcare workers. It was just a personal arts and crafts signs that their kids did. And since then, after that first one, it went on to the neighbors, and the neighbors asked for one as well. And news spread throughout this town, and they made over 1,000 signs and started selling them. And they've made over $11,000 that's actually helped out the hospitals over in Connecticut. So to the Rutledge family, thank you for doing so. And hopefully if I can actually find where we could buy one of your signs, I know there are plenty of people here in Dallas-Fort Worth that would love to buy one. And hopefully we can get some information and put that up on the Thanks for Nothing page.
Especially Dallas now.
What's that? What's Dallas? What's
spikes of coronavirus?
Oh yeah. No, it ain't going away. It's not going away yet. I know that the one thing that they said was that the mortality rate is not what they originally thought it would be. It is still a lethal virus, though, and so we still have to be aware. We still have to understand our surroundings, and so don't storm your state capitol building with guns, saying that you just want to go ahead and get a haircut. With that being said, I would like to thank Joseph for coming on this week to discuss his book. Joseph, when can we expect you to come back on again? Maybe here in a couple months?
Oh, we should come out for a release party, right?
Yeah, I think so. So why is that next month now? So I think
next month.
I just want to see you partying your ass off on July 16th, celebrating the final release of your book.
With tea and coffee and cupcakes. That's what I party with these days.
That's a good sugar rush.
As long as you party.
As long as you party.
Anything else planned?
So what?
Do you have anything else planned? Like you have another a book turning in your mind wheels or
God, there's all kinds of stuff. But
I know the play might be one thing that could be feasible in the future with it if everything keeps opening up. But are you going to focus more on books, more on plays? Are you going to do another movie?
I'm just going to
erotic art.
Spread my wings and fly, man. I'm just going to spread my wings and let the wind take me where I may be. No, but really, I'm just going to focus on writing, coming up with ideas. Take a little bit of time a day. It's kind of a coping mechanism for me anyway. So,
hell yeah.
Whatever comes out will come out. I do know that I do have project fatigue right now because I already worked on 2 projects this year. So
take the rest of the year off from that. Just let your mind relax, and you'll probably think of something new that you want to do.
I'm pretty sure in August or September, I'll be like, I got this itch, and I need to scratch it. Nothing's gonna fix it unless I
don't pick up a synth. Don't do it. Nothing good comes from that.
No, I want to show you what's behind that closet thing, man.
No.
So I want to let you guys also know that Thanks for Nothing was at just 2 weeks ago 154 likes. We're at 195 likes right now. We're only 5 likes away from the 200 mark. I'd be very happy if we can reach that point here in the next 24 hours because, we're trying to reach out to you guys and do some good in this community. So next week we're going to be having Tara come on to talk about her conspiracies. I can't wait to hear about some of the shit that she has to say.
Not just conspiracies, but crime and also certain tea times.
I was going to say.
I only care about the conspiracies. I don't care about the tea times or anything like that. No, she can talk about whatever she wants. But yes, Mason's sister Tara will be coming on next week to discuss that part. What?
If we get on serial killers, this is going to be a 3-hour podcast. I'm not going to stop.
Just Tell me you want to start the podcast earlier. We'll start the podcast earlier. I really don't mind.
It's 3:45 in the afternoon.
We got to start now.
If we want to finish by now, we got to start now.
Get to your fucking computer, my God. And Dustin Hunter will be back on next week as well. So coming from Mike,
Please.
I miss Dustin.
Mason, and Joseph, thank you for coming on. Thanks for nothing, everybody.
Thanks for nothing.